Marley Weirdo with Wood TV in Grand Rapids. This is the second year in a row where both the men's and women's programs for Michigan are headed to the Sweet 16. What is it like for you to see that kind of shared success between both programs and what it means for Michigan basketball as a whole?
I think it's wonderful for University of Michigan to be a fine institution that it is, to have two basketball programs, the men's and women's, to represent the school, represent what the school is all about, with the winning tradition on and off the floor. I give Kim and her staff an amazing credit as far as what they have developed with that culture and finding, fine young men women, that are talented in many ways and that play basketball the winning way. Getting to the men's program, it says a lot about our AD, Ward Manuel, with the hires that he's made, not just on the basketball level, but being a part of it and having the opportunity to coach, and lead these fine young men. It's a blessing to see all the hard work that they put in, also to see our staff and all the work that they put in to buy into what the Michigan culture is all about. So I think it's fun and exciting for the state of Michigan to be able to be represented by the men's and women's basketball program.
Right down here in the front, please.
Alejandro Zuniga, the Michigan Insider. Can you give us an update on Devante Jones? Is he a full participant, and his status for tomorrow?
Well, he practiced today and yesterday. So right now he's looking good. He's improved a lot with his health. We will know more tomorrow morning as far as how he feels when it comes to recovery as he wakes up. But I keep my fingers crossed, and we're praying that he will be available for tomorrow.
Go ahead.
To follow on that, you've said next man up many times throughout the season. Frankie Collins was that next man up. If Devante's back, how do you manage those minutes with a freshman who has played so well?
Well, we've been through it before with injuries, with COVID. It's already embedded in the culture, and our guys understand that with injuries, we make no excuses, but we trust that every guy that's in that roster will get an opportunity to go out there. When they do play, they're going to give it their best. And fortunate enough, when Devante went out with his injury, Frankie Collins stepped up. But it wasn't a surprise to his teammates. It wasn't a surprise to me or the staff, because the work he's put in practice, the work he's put in when he's not in practice. The kid loves basketball. He's a basketball mind. He's been through some competitive moments before throughout the season. But, in the big stage in the NCAA tournament, he didn't look like a freshman. He looked like he belongs, which he does.
All right, right here.
Detroit Free Press. Juwan, obviously defending without fouling is always going to be the goal for you guys, but against a team that shoots free throws as well as Villanova does, how do you balance maintaining aggression with also not putting a team on the line that really takes advantage there?
Well, we're going to guard. We have to defend. It's a very good team that shoots the ball extremely well. They have great perimeter play. They do a really good job of playing one-on-one basketball when it comes to, exploiting matchups. They're very patient within their offensive sets. How we've drilled it throughout the season back in July 1st when we first got together. We built the habits on how to defend, and there have been times when we've had slippage in our defense, but it's going to be tested, and we're looking forward to that competitive juices. We're looking forward to playing against a competitive team, and I trust our team is dialed in and ready to go tomorrow.
Austin Meek with The Athletic. Juwan, you just mentioned defensively there have been some ups and downs this season. What have you done well the last couple games to really elevate the way you've played defensively?
Well, what we've done well is mental stability. Give our guys credit. There have been times in the first half where we've been down. There have been times in the first half where we have turned over the basketball because we're trying to make the right play. But to be able to know and understand that it's a 40-minute game, trusting, the process, but being dialed into the team make a run, stand mentally stable, and that's where you have, leaders that's on the floor. A guy like Eli Brooks, Hunter Dickinson, putting the guys together on their back and just, sharing with them about, we got to stay locked in and focused. Our time will come, but keep trusting, keep getting stops. And those are the type of conversations that they have in the huddles. And that's why we have the carryover the way we do by being able to finish ball games, because the game is built on 40 minutes. And, until that buzzer sounds, we're going to continue to keep competing from start to finish.
Stephen Hawkins with the AP. Colin Gillespie from Villanova obviously has played a lot of games, 4-year starter since being in that championship. What are you seeing from him and the kid? It seems like he's been there forever.
Well, when they say you've been there forever, that means that you're doing something right. And what I say about that is a young man who has bought into the culture at Villanova, has trusted the process and has success while doing it. Year after year, he's improved and added something new to his game. And, with the injury, the tough injury that he suffered, but to be able to bounce back, that's not easy. And I haven't experienced that injury personally myself, but I've had friends and also teammates that have. That says a lot about his mental toughness. And now this year he's led this team, and now they're at the Sweet 16. It doesn't surprise me. He's had an All-American season. He's going to be playing basketball, I see, for the near future, whether it's on the NBA level or wherever else. But he's going to have a lot of success because, the kid's a competitor. He knows how to play, and he played winning basketball.
Right down here.
24/7 Sports. Michigan, you guys have set a Big Ten record with 5 straight Sweet 16 appearances. Anything you can put your finger on as to why year after year you guys are able to succeed at this time of year?
Well, it starts with the leadership up top. And I touched on it, and I know he doesn't want the credit. He's not the one that's going to stick his chest out and beat his chest and say, hey, it's about me, I. But, it says a lot about the leadership who hired the people, and that's Ward Manuel, our AD. He does a fantastic job in identifying, who are the right coaches that he wants to lead our men and women programs and in different levels of sports. And so with 5 straight, Sweet 16 appearances, it's not easy. It takes time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of being uncomfortable. And now that this is my 3rd year as a coach, I can speak on this. That before COVID, getting to understanding the team that I have and getting them to buy in to the culture and what our team identity will be. The team that I inherited from Isaiah Livers, starting with him, and also Xavier Simpson, and now you look at guys like Eli and Hunter. It says a lot about these young men and how they are given to the program, but also given to the leadership. And so I'm just excited to have a great team that works hard, play the right way, high character young men, good students in the classroom, and they just enjoying the college experience. And so people say, hey, this is a job. And I look at it, no, it's not a job for me. This is something that I love doing. I love driving in, getting the opportunity to get in the gym and learn from these young men and work with them. That's the key, working with them.
Right down here in the front, please.
Andrew Kahn, M Live. Hi, Juwan. As far as the Big Ten, you guys were the last team standing in the tournament last year. It's you and Purdue now. I know you're locked into your team, but I guess I'm wondering what your take is on the league in general, and if you have, pride in carrying the banner for the Big Ten to a certain extent.
Well, I'm locked into Michigan, and that's, I can control the controllable, and this is the only thing I would say right now that I have hands-on knowledge about, care about, is University of Michigan and what this program represents, and what we as Michigan people, the pride that we have and the support that we have for one another. That's the only thing I'm dialed into, and that's the only thing that I'm focused on is Michigan basketball.
All right, we've got time for 2 more in the room, then we're going to toss 1 to Zoom, so we'll go right here first.
Going with the Detroit Free Press, Juwan, the Big Ten afforded Hunter a chance to go against some really good big men this season, and he talked about how he enjoys that challenge. What jumps out to you about a potential matchup between Hunter and Eric Dickinson?
Well, I know a lot been talked about, Samuel, Gillespie, as well as, the other guard play from Moore and others. But Dickinson, when you're a 6'7" center, and people look at centers, you got to be 6'9" or 7 feet. Sometimes you look at that as a slight, but he's not just a center; he's a basketball player. But he's a competitive basketball player. We're built with a lot of strength, toughness. That can shoot the basketball extremely well and plays with a high IQ. Hunter, he don't look at all right, a guy has to be 7 feet for me to start competing against him. Hunter loves basketball player that when he steps between the lines, he don't feel like, okay, it's about me, I. He dialed into the team. So let's get right to it. It's about Villanova and Michigan playing the basketball game. They're going to play great team basketball built on concepts. It's not about one-on-one matchups. What we're going to do is be dialed into how we play. We're going to stick to how we play, trust it, have belief in one another, and compete for 40 minutes.
Hey, Juwan. Brendan Quinn with The Athletic. Last week, Jay was talking about the importance of having, you were asked about the streak. But Jay was talking about the importance of having guys constantly in the program who have played in the NCAA tournament year after year after year, so that when you get there, you don't have to explain what it's like or wonder how they're going to react and things like that. And I wonder what you've kind of seen of that aspect of things in your experience coaching in this tournament with guys who have actually been there.
Well, with guys that have had experience of being in a tournament year after year, and for young guys that are freshmen who haven't experienced it, it's great to have great leadership to be able to share some of the experiences. It's also, as a coach, you love having leadership that can be that leader when teams go on those runs where, sometimes you sort of lose a little bit of trust. Sometimes when you start to overthink and overanalyze moments out there on the floor, but you have another coach out there like an Eli Brooks to be able to pull guys together and get them locked in to stand onto the job and the job that's in the task that is at hand. And I have to give our young guys a lot of credit. They haven't gotten caught into all the outside stuff, the outside noise. Yes, this is a dream of theirs to play in March Madness. They've been in high school, they've been in AAU basketball, and they've been looking forward to this opportunity to compete for a national championship. But they also put in the work back in July leading up to this point. And so I've been so proud with how they've been so mature throughout the process. Throughout the season, during the Big Ten, conference, and then also, that tournament game that we played against the Indiana, I just saw a lot of growth in our group, game after game, being on the road, facing adversity with guys being out because of COVID and banding together like brothers. That's special. And these special young men that I'm getting an opportunity to work with, I'm so blessed.
All right, we'll take our last question from Zoom, and if you want to take that over, please. All right, looks like we're having some technical. Nope.
I'm back on.
Thank you, Ann.
Our last question will come from Christopher Heidel with Herb FM Sports. Please unmute your microphone and ask your question.
Hi, Coach Howard. This is Chris Heidel from Herb FM Radio in Baltimore. Congratulations on making it on the Sweet 16. When did you find out when your team is peaking right now? Are they peaking at the right time, or do you feel like they still have a lot of work to do?
Well, there's always room for improvement, and I'm one of those coaches that I'm sure they probably say together or in their heads that I'm always nitpicking, and I'm so one of those coaches that's so dialed into the details and how we can improve, and there's always room for growth. Going back and when you're watching film and you're seeing teachable moments in the game whether it's on the defensive side of the ball or the offensive side of the ball, on mistakes that we made, but they're fixable mistakes. That's the part where I see where we can grow as a group, and I see that there's areas that we're going to always continue to keep working on so we can prepare to be a better ball club. But at this time of the year, I'm sure every team will tell you, there's always some areas of growth. You never feel like you're a complete team, no matter if you're playing in a championship game. I'm sure coaches will tell you, and Jay Reich will, he can speak for it because he's been there before. There's always room for improvement.
All right. Thank you, Coach, for your time. We appreciate it, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
And guard Devante Jones, guard Caleb Houston, and guard Eli Brooks. Please direct your question to the student athlete you wish to ask, and we will get going. Questions, please. Here in the front.
Zach Shaw, 24/7 Sports. Eli and then Hunter, if you could as well, since you guys have been to a couple of these. Michigan has set a Big Ten record with 5 straight Sweet 16 appearances. Can you guys put your finger on anything Michigan maybe does differently than other programs that's leading to that March success?
They got a man named Eli Brooks for those 5 years that's been there. Maybe that's the common denominator.
I only got 4 of them, so I can't take credit for all 5.
Okay, that's your phone.
Questions for our student athletes right here?
Michael Cohen with the Detroit Free Press. Devante, can you kind of describe what the last week has been like for you, from when you took the hit to when you tried to play and couldn't, and where you are now?
At first, it was a little bit emotional for me, but then I got myself together and just seeing how the team was playing so well, doing so great, getting victories, and that's the main thing for me. Obviously, I want to play here, in March Madness, but at the time, I was just so happy for my teammates, being able to win through that type of adversity.
Andrew Kahn, M Live. Devante, hey, I guess I know it's a bad memory, but if you could go back, you take a shot in the nose at practice. I mean, at what point do you realize I'm not going to be able to play in the first NCAA tournament game?
Probably like 5 seconds after it happened, honestly. No, right when it happened, my head felt like crazy and things like that, so I just didn't feel normal, so I just knew that I'll probably be out, for the first game.
Yep.
As far as can you talk about where you watched the game and just the emotions of seeing your team win to give you a chance to join them?
Yeah, I watched the game at home in my room. It was a dark room, so I watched it at home. I was excited, throughout the whole game. The first half I was kind of nervous, because it was playing on my emotions. But second half, they got together, and I was excited they won.
Over here on the side.
This is going to be your 16th NCAA tournament game. You didn't play in a few as a freshman, but 16 of these. How much easier is it playing these games when you've done it so many times?
I mean, just controlling your emotions throughout the game. I think March Madness is a neutral site most of the time, but one team usually has more fans than the other. We've been lucky enough to have more fans most of the time, so I think just moving forward, being able to play through those environments, sustain runs, is the biggest thing.
Down here.
Austin Meek with The Athletic. Hunter, you guys have mixed in some zone throughout the season, but it seems like especially lately it's been a really effective change of pace for you guys. What's made it effective, and what's different for you when you're playing man versus zone?
I think, the reason why the zone is so effective for a lot of teams is, most teams run a lot of good man plays, but not a lot of teams have a lot of good zone plays. So, it's and they don't work on them as much, I'd say. And so, that can definitely take teams off guard. But I think for us, with our zone, we try to really be really energetic and really active in the zone that, can try to disrupt teams and try to, force them into draining the shot clock, and so, they don't get the best of shots.
back to Devante. As far as the last game, you had to come out a couple times. One time I think they were saying on TV was the wrist, but then it might have been concussion issues again. I guess can you speak to what happened in that game?
I can't say too much. I just, I wasn't feeling my 100% self, and I didn't want to be selfish to the team because I knew I had a guard like Frank Collins who come in and get the job done, and that's what he did.
On Frankie, I know you weren't surprised by what you saw, but for people like us that didn't get to see him play huge minutes, I guess can you say what you saw from him out there?
I mean, I knew it. I think I tweeted it like the day or two before, just saying that he was going to get the job done. He's a great point guard. He's young, but he understands his role on the team. Athletic, quick guard who could get downhill and score for himself or make plays for others. And he's very good on defense as well. So he's just all around a great guard for us.
Okay, right behind.
Eli, after the win over Tennessee, you and Terrence talked about how important it was to run them off the three-point line and take that away against a team like Villanova that shoots just as well, if not better, in terms of the number of guys that can shoot. Is the challenge different at all when just about all 5 guys can shoot from 3 as opposed to maybe just a couple like Tennessee had?
Yeah, but it makes more people have to be disciplined on defense. They got 4s and 5s that can shoot the ball, so we're going to have to do a good job all around, closing out, under control, because they all can put the ball on the ground as well. So just not shooters, they can also put the ball on the ground and score for themselves.
All right, we're going to go to Zoom here for a couple of questions. Ann, if you want to take over, please.
First question will come from Nicholas Stoll from Michigan Daily. Nicholas, please unmute your microphone and ask your question.
Hey, Hunter. You played with Justin Moore in high school. What was your relationship with him, and what did you see in him as a player?
Me and Justin were really good friends. That was one of my best friends in high school. We've been playing with each other since like 6th grade, me, him, and Terrence, and so we have a really good relationship. Ever since we were young, Justin was really good at getting to the rim and finishing and, just a pure scorer. And, he's just added to his game since then, since DeMatha.
Our next question from Zoom comes from Christopher Heidel. Please unmute your microphone and ask your question.
Hey, this is Chris Heidel from Hermiton Radio in Baltimore, Maryland. Guys, congratulations on making to the Sweet 16. You guys play in the Big Ten. What team does Villanova look like in the Big Ten? I know you guys played against Maryland and Ohio State and Michigan State. What did they look like on the video and getting ready for tomorrow night's game?
Can you repeat your question, please? Just to clarify it a little bit, please.
Yeah, my question is, what does Villanova look like on getting ready for tomorrow night's preparation? Because you guys played in the Big Ten a lot, so do they look like one of the Big Ten teams you guys play against?
Do they look like
I don't think so. Maybe like a more disciplined Iowa team, maybe. I say that like in terms of like Iowa, they're really free flowing and they have like a couple sets, but it's mostly just, a lot of them just making up, their own sets and, really free flowing. Villanova's really disciplined and, they run their sets. Coach Wright has them, really trained to, do the Villanova system. But, both teams have a lot of shooting. Both teams, I'd say, don't have like that 7-foot big man that, the rest of the Big Ten has, but, they have really good talent, really good shooting, and can really space the floor.
All right. Anything else for our student athletes right up here in front? And then we'll go here second, and then we'll be done for the day with our student athletes.
Marley Weirda with Wood TV in Grand Rapids. Eli, I wanted to ask you, you were a freshman when you guys played Villanova in the championship. Is this a little bit of a full circle moment for you, or what do you remember about that game?
I mean, this was the 2 schools that it came down to for me, so this is a big matchup for me to get the win back in the same place that we lost the national championship game in. But I'm not going to make it personal about myself, but it's about moving on to the next round. It just happens to be Villanova back in San Antonio.
right down here.
For any or all of you, I know you really only care about Michigan, but do you pay attention to the fact that, the rest of the Big Ten, there's only one other team left? Last year, you guys were the last team standing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this season was definitely, like not the best, not the way that we wanted it to, and other fans definitely let us know that, particularly Michigan State, Illinois, who else? Ohio State, who else? Oh, there's another team in there. There was another team. Who was it? Who's the other team? There's one more. The team down in Madison, the red and white team. They definitely let us know how they felt about our season. We heard those NIT chants. They were hurtful. They definitely hurt. But it's funny how they'll be watching us on Thursday back at their cribs.
All right, that's all from our student athletes. Thank you, guys.
Chatter, bro, chatter.